This new Deepin project allows you to remotely deploy a Wi-Fi hotspot that will be used by paying customers. Think of it as hosting your own internet router. You'll earn a passive income in the project token for doing so. This could be the next Helium-like project. The project team has previous experience running the internet infrastructure for companies like Facebook and Google in their country, so they definitely know what they are doing. And if you purchase a hotspot today, you'll automatically earn 100 tokens a day just for being early, which you can then get access to once the token lists. And the token generation is expected later this year. And there are only around 4,000 hotspots that are currently deployed. And make sure you stay till the end of the video, because alongside explaining exactly how you'll earn with this project and sharing with you a rewards calculator, I've got an exclusive interview with the founder of the project. In this video, I'll go over what the project is and what it's trying to achieve. I'll then break down the rewards both before the token listing and after. I'll talk you through how you can purchase one or multiple hotspots today, including with my discount code. And then lastly, I'll finish off with that interview with the founder. I'll have all of the timestamps on the screen and you can scroll along the bottom of the video. Right, let's jump into this action-packed video. Let's jump into the Dabba website so we can learn more about this project and what it's trying to achieve. So as you can see from the website, this is a crypto-powered Wi-Fi network project that is focusing on emerging markets. So they're hoping to build a decentralized network of internet connectivity, but specifically in the emerging market of India. And you might be questioning why this makes sense. Well, India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world and has a population of over 1.4 billion people. And 50% of that population don't have access to the internet. So that provides a huge potential opportunity of investment. And not only is there an opportunity for investment, but there is a huge use case just on a human level. 80% of street traders in India actually transact using digital payments. And in 2023, they transacted over 1.3 trillion US dollars. Now that is impressive. But not only that, over 500 million people are active on social media. And you can only imagine the demand that that's going to put on network operators. So how exactly is Dabba trying to solve this problem? Well, at the moment, the way that it works is that internet providers will provide connectivity to a group of people called local cable operators, and they are dispersed all over India. And it's their job to go out and build the infrastructure and set up the internet connectivity points. Now, the problem here is that there is no incentive on them to provide a good service. They simply set up the connectivity and they can move on, but they have a huge capacity. And this is where Deepin comes in, because it incentivizes everyone across the chain. So this is how Dabba will work. Hotspot owners, that's people like me and you, will take the first step by investing in the hardware that's going to support this project. That's going to fuel a hardware economy, because this is going to create the demand for producing these hotspots. Then the hotspot owners will choose local cable operators based on a rating system, incentivizing them to produce a good service. The owner of the location that is hosting your hotspot is going to get a share of those rewards. The local cable operator will then deploy your hotspot to a location owner, and then users around that area will start consuming the data. And they actually pay in fiat currency to do so. And so by creating this network, you don't have to purchase 50 hotspots in your home. You can purchase these remotely and they'll be deployed and ran for you. It's almost as if you're running your own telecoms company in another country, which is super exciting. And much like Airbnb and Uber, it's relying on sharing and aggregating all of these resources instead of investing them on your own. And as we've seen from those companies, that makes total sense. So let's move on to the next part of the video. The question that most of you are probably asking, what's the reward model for this project? Well, the way that rewards will be distributed in this project are as follows. 100% of the tokens are going to go to hotspot owners. And then the hotspot owner will distribute those rewards down the chain. So the hardware manufacturer is going to get a small portion for providing the warranty. The local cable operators, well, they're going to get paid for installing and deploying the hotspots. The internet connectivity provider, well, they're going to get some tokens for providing the internet bandwidth. And then the owner of the location is also going to get a small split of the reward for hosting this hotspot. And so this is going to create an incentivized ecosystem where everybody is going to be receiving at the highest level. Now, there are two ways in which rewards are going to work. One is pre-TGE and the other one is post-TGE. So the way that rewards will work post-TGE is that there will be a rewards pool, and that is going to be distributed to the number of active hotspots online at that time. Rewards are going to be based on two metrics. One is the universal basic income. This is equally distributed amongst all the hotspot owners. And the second one is the performance pool. And this is going to be distributed based on that individual hotspot's performance. In the first year, it'll be 90% as an equal distribution, and then 10% depending on how much your hotspot operates. And then over the course of the next few years, this is going to switch, where majority of the rewards is going to be how much your hotspot runs, and then a smaller portion of that equal amount. But of course, the more that the network grows, technically the more you should earn because it will be getting used more. And the other exciting thing about this project is that it has an inflationary mechanism. So people are going to purchase data credits that's going to give them gigabytes of data, and that's going to be paid for in fiat currency. And what the project will do with that is they will purchase the Dabba token and then they will burn the equivalent of it, meaning that the more data that is consumed on the project, the more tokens will be burnt, therefore rising the price of the token. So it's not about how much you earn and what the value is on TGE, it's about what the future potential price will be as this project grows. So that's the rewards post TGE. What are the rewards now leading up to TGE? Well, we are currently in the Genesis period. And the way that rewards work now is that you'll get 100 Dabba tokens per day from the date that you purchase your hotspots, and you'll get that per hotspot. And that will continue up until TGE. Once TGE happens, there'll be a vesting period in which you'll start receiving those rewards. And the vesting period will be equal to the number of days that you were online before TGE. So an easy example to use is that if you purchased a hotspot 30 days before TGE, then you will receive 3,000 tokens. And then post TGE for 30 days, because that's how long you'd been online, that's the vesting period in which those tokens will get distributed. Now, I'll put a link in the description of a rewards calculator. You can enter the number of hotspots that you purchased and the date that you purchased, and it'll give you an estimation of how much Genesis rewards you'll have to date. So you can play around with that to estimate how much your pre-TGE rewards will be. As you can see from the dashboard, there are over 4,000 hotspots that have been deployed at the moment, and so we are still quite early in this project, with about 6,000 hotspots left in season 2 of this sale. And there's been over 437 million Genesis tokens that have been rewarded to users so far. Right, so how can you purchase one of these hotspots? Well, the first step will be to click the link in the description that'll take you to this page, and here you can choose the number of hotspots that you want to buy. At the moment, the price before discount is $199, but if you enter my discount code displayed on the screen, that'll knock 5% off your purchase price. Now, one thing that you need to bear in mind is that there is an additional $100 worth of DBT that'll be required once you activate your hotspot, but that won't happen until TGE, but that's just something to bear in mind. The other thing is that your purchase is actually ownership for 7 years, so it's not a yearly purchase. Once you get to this page, it's very important that you press the plus button and enter your discount code. If you don't do that, you won't get the discount. And then you can choose whether you want to purchase via fiat currency using Stripe, or you can pay using crypto. And it's recommended to have a Solana wallet to make that payment. Once you've done that and registered your email address, you'll have your hotspot up and running. And the way you can access your hotspot is by simply going to the Explorer and then signing in. And if you sign in using the email address that you used to purchase your hotspot, here it'll display the number of hotspots that you have, and then it will display the number of Genesis tokens that you have earned. And that's it for now. Once TGE happens, they'll take you through the process of the KYC, investing in your 100 DBT tokens, and then selecting your local cable operators. I just want to pause the video here. If you're taking value from anything that I've shared so far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you don't like anything that I'm sharing on this channel, please leave constructive comments in the description. If I like a comment and it helps me grow the channel, I'll send you a little something as a thank you. So please do interact with me. I want this channel to go in the right direction. Right, let's jump back to the video. Right, let's move on to the last part of the video, which is an interview with the founder of this project. Now, he drops a bunch of awesome info. So if you're still interested and you want to learn more, I do recommend that you tune into that. First of all, Karam, thank you so much for giving me time of your busy schedule to talk about Dabba. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and the company before we find out what you guys are actually doing?
So Dabba's mission is to build Wi-Fi in emerging markets. There are two founders to Dabba, myself and my co-founder Shubs. We've been working together for the last 15 years, and the last 7 years of which we've been an internet service provider in India. So we used to power parts of Google public Wi-Fi, Facebook public Wi-Fi. We helped the government work on the policy for how broadband should be delivered across India. So we've been been focused on making a massive impact in the market. Our goal is spectacularly simple. The demand for data in India is exploding. Indians are already the highest consumers of data. They want more connectivity. They want more broadband. There's room to deploy 500 million broadband connections across India. And that's what we want to use the principles of Deepin to do. Our network is live. We've got more than 2,000 hotspots already. Another 5,000 will be rolling out this month. Our network's grown 5x in the last couple of months. Let me just give you some numbers on how the network's doing. We're nearly at about 5,000 hotspots, and we'll be doubling the size of that network this month. We've generated nearly $100,000 in revenue per token burn already over the last couple of months. We've given out 420 million Genesis tokens already, and if you buy a hotspot, you'll be eligible for some before the TGE. We've served more than 50,000 unique users on our network so far, and we've consumed something like 2,500 terabytes of data over the last couple of months, which is insane. And if this sounds interesting to you and you care about the problem of solving connectivity in a market that needs it and is willing to pay for it, please check out dabba.com. We think you'd love what we're up to.
I mean, it's amazing that this project is actually trying to solve an issue that's occurring at the moment. What are some of the users of Dabba using the internet connectivity for? What are some of the real use cases that people are kind of utilizing this network for?
Yeah, so let me give you some context. So India is the second largest telecom market in the world. We are maxing out our cell phone towers because Indians love consuming data so much. So telcos cannot install more towers to connect more people because the radio waves are basically fat. Now, while India's got amazing 4G and 5G connectivity, average Indian consumes something like 40 gigabytes a month just on their phone. Most Indians have dual SIM cards. And now when you've got this ridiculous explosion of data demand, the networks can't handle it. And now broadband needs to be rolled out, which is, the kind of connection you're probably watching this video on at home or your office. So less than 5% of India has access to broadband and Wi-Fi either in their home or office, simply because we leapfrog straight to mobile. So what we want to do is serve this overwhelming amount of data demand that's coming by helping build out a broadband system.
Awesome. And in the video today, we talked about the way that Dabba works, where users can purchase these hotspots, and rather than putting them in their own home, they are put out into the wild, as it were, and utilized. There's a flow of traffic that goes through it. So my question is, how can users take part and benefit from this network? So if a user decides to purchase 1, 2, or 10 hotspots today, what's the value proposition for them, and what's the value exchange that they can expect to receive when they invest, including the earnings?
Dabba is designed to make it easy for you to get involved in helping solve this major problem. So you just visit dabba.com. You can buy a Wi-Fi hotspot there. And what we do is we deploy and manage that for you through our local partners in India. And you're able to transparently see where your hotspot is getting installed, how much data it consumes, how much revenue it's generating, whether there are customer complaints, everything along those lines. There's massive transparency in the system. You get rewarded for helping subsidize building out this network infrastructure with Dabba tokens. Now, we follow a model extraordinarily similar and inspired by Helium. So if you know Helium, HiveMapper, and that sort of thing, our model is effectively the same. We've got a fixed supply of 10 billion Dabba tokens. All hotspot owners get rewarded from the entirety of the community share. And all of the revenue that end customers pay, like they pay their monthly broadband bill, we take that revenue to buy and burn the token, thereby creating value for the token. Now, the great thing about Dabba is I'm sure a lot of you have participated in other Deepin projects, and you got to install it on your own and that sort of thing. But we handle all of that for you, so you can buy as many as you like. To give you a sense of things, most people come in, buy 1 or 2 hotspots, they join our Discord, they follow us on X, they get a sense of who we are, and now the average person owns something like 20 to 25 hotspots on the network and growing. So we think that it's a great opportunity and definitely worth taking a look at.
I mean, that's really awesome. And the fact that you're able to actually got paying customers on the back end, and that you're able to kind of convert those credits and burn them and create revenue for the project is really what people like to see, and what I like to see, that there is the end part. You're looking at the consumer part as well. In fact, it's working from the consumer first. So I guess my last question is looking to the future. Could you show us a little bit or tell us about the roadmap? Is there a token generation expected? What are the plans for 2025 that people can look forward to invest in the project?
Dabba is going to have its TGE on Solana at the end of Q1 of this year, so in the next couple of months. One of the reasons you may want to consider taking a look is if you buy a hotspot before we do our TGE, you're going to get Genesis rewards, which are going to make a massive difference. So that's worth taking a look into. We've got ridiculously cool partnerships that we're going to be launching with a ton of other different projects and other things that will make it way more interesting. So an example is this. We're partnered with WeatherXM, where we're installing 1,000 WeatherXM stations across India because it's so easy for us to do so, right? Because anyway, we're installing thousands of broadband connections. So while our team's installing a broadband connection, they're going to install a weather device as well, and maybe other defense. But if you buy Dabba, you're also going to get a share of those WeatherXM tokens. So that's an example of the kind of scale and the interesting things that we're going to be doing over the next couple of months. So the short version is TGE coming Q1 this year. You might want to consider participating because we've got Genesis rewards. We're also going to be expanding the scale and scope of this network. And yeah, we're really excited for the road ahead.
Thank you so much for taking the time out for this interview. Really excited about the future for Dabba, especially given the number of hotspots that you have is still quite low, but the market is still quite high. So there's an opportunity for people to get in early now, and we don't want them to be kicking themselves, a few years down the line. So really thank you for your time and look forward to seeing the progress on Dabba.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Right, that's it for this video. I hope you took a ton of value from this project. If you like these types of projects, then you might as well want to check this one out here. Right, that's it from me. I'll catch you in the next video.